Welcome to our world.
In our world, you're going to miss birthdays and bar mitzvahs and whatever else you got going on in your life. Sorry.
Yeah.
Was it? I think it was Marv Albert who wrote a book, and the book says, "Sorry, but I got a game." So, how many times you've been right, Dan? How many times you've been invited to something and you said, "Sorry, I got a game. I'm on the road. I can't do it." Yeah.
It's definitely about enjoying the journey, and it's not about where you want to get to, but it's about where you are and practicing your trade. And as you say, Bill, the only way you get better at play-by-play is by doing it and getting reps. And there's a path out there for everybody.
Yes.
And enjoy where you are, and you'll follow that path.
And I think the fact that there's so many now streaming services where high school games can be broadcast with cameras even, not just an audio broadcast, but I think that those are the opportunities that maybe weren't there when we were young, and it's a great opportunity to get out there and get some reps in.
We went from cassette recorders to digital media to Wi-Fi to all this we have now. That's incredible. Think about it. When you first started, what was your recording machine? A tape recorder?
Yeah.
A mini disc?
Yeah.
Right?
Hey, I'll tell you
digital
one thing,
audio tape?
Now it's our phones.
Regardless of the technology, I'm ready to hit the fast forward button and see this team play because I got a feeling, guys, this is going to be a real fun year to be around these guys. I really do.
I agree. I mean, look at all the talent we have out there. They're young, they're talented, they're eager. We're going to have a good season.
You got a catchphrase for Victor in Spanish yet?
Not yet. You know what? I think that's going to come out naturally. I don't think about that until it actually just happens naturally. So we'll see.
Okay, so again, we're playing a little game here tonight. Get your answers in the chat. But who will be the next player to hit a three? Put your answer in the chat. Next player to hit a three. And will it be Chetty Osman?
Yes, it will.
If you had Chetty Osman, then you win.
That was quick. That was it.
And if you didn't have Chetty Osman, maybe we'll go with the next guy
to
hit a three.
If you had Chetty Osman, you got it in very quickly.
No, I like our team. I like how a lot of these guys have been together for a little while. I know we're young and stuff, but the chemistry of these guys is good. The way we ended the season, it wasn't the best, but still a lot of good things happened at the end. Look how Trey started playing at the end of the season, having Zach back. That was incredible.
It was interesting just there, Dan, watching Wemby post up and using his pivot. How many times, and we talked about this in the first half a little bit, he's going to get fouled because his length is just so difficult to deal with those long arms. People are going to be hitting his arms all the time, and I'm sure they're going to try to get physical with him, but he's got such I don't want to say a steely focus. I guess it is. It's a steely focus. And I'm so impressed with his maturity in handling all the attention that he's getting.
Yeah, kind of like you, Bill.
Really? After that performance at the Saxon Pub, I'm impressed too, Bill.
A little different level. A little different level.
I agree, though. Wembayama came here very focused, very mature, and I think having all the Spurs like Tim and Manu and Tony actually talk to him way before he got here is important. Because he needs to know what he's going to expect in his first year.
How about Charles Bassey off the roll there, finishing on the alley-oop? He was a guy who missed the last 14 games of the regular season after tearing his patella tendon. So good to have him back in the fold. Bill, I thought he, after signing a two-way contract, having that converted during the rodeo road trip, this is a guy who certainly earned his spot on the roster a year ago.
One of the best offensive rebounders we had on the roster last year for sure.
Yeah,
Devin shooting that three right now with confidence. I like that.
I think our defense is going to be really spectacular, too. Defense is going to win a lot of games, and if these guys can play like back in the 90s, the Spurs with all the tough defense, we'll be okay.
That's the number one priority right now, when you consider the fact that the Spurs ranked, dead last in just about every category last year, Dan, defensively. Yeah. But they've got an opportunity with a healthy Devin Vassell, a healthy Jeremy Sohan, and, of course, Victor Wembanyama coming in with his long length, with his 8-foot wingspan. I think that they're going to get, and Zach Collins, of course, is back now for a full year.
Exactly.
I really do think I think they're going to be better
defensively. There we go.
Just lob it up there.
We'll see Victor Wembanyama get the dunk.
Yep.
And by the way, for those wondering, Jeremy Sohan, Keldon Johnson, and Kem Birch all inactive for the Silver and Black scrimmage tonight. If you're wondering where they are out on the floor, they're not available. Devontae Graham front rims the three. Team Silver had their first lead a moment ago after a Devin Vassell three. Black has come back, but there's Silver again on the attack by Blake Wesley. He'll earn an and one opportunity.
Close game.
He plays downhill, does he not, Dan? When he gets going, and that of course, is his strength, his speed. But it's really good to see. He really went in with confidence there against McDermott and drew the foul.
And a lot of people are surprised that they're going to play Victor at the forward position. But I think it's a good idea. let him come in, let the other guys play center, and get started to the new season.
Dan and I were talking about this right before we went on the air about positionless basketball, right, Dan? How, you know, the Spurs have only really one true point guard, if you will, in Trey Jones. Now, Blake Wesley, of course, I think might fall in that category as well. But you got a lot of guys who can play a lot of different positions.
All right, Bill, so we got another fan question here. Mike wants to know, what's the one thing this Spurs team might surprise people with this year? One thing they might surprise people with this year?
I think their depth. I really do think that second unit can come in, and we don't know who will be on that second unit yet, but I do think that we saw enough of Julian Champagny and Sandro Mamakhalishvili last year. You know, we might see one of the guys that started last year, or Keldon Johnson, perhaps come off the bench. We don't know that yet. Pop says those decisions haven't been made.
Yeah.
But I do think that the bench will be stronger this year. This will be a deeper team, and I think it's a team that's going to be competitive in a lot of basketball games, for sure.
I actually think, believe it or not, they were the number 2 in pace last year. I think they'll be a faster team this year than they were last year. They went at 102 possessions per game, and I think they're going to go even quicker, because that's really been one area that Pop has stressed throughout the last few seasons: transition basketball, number of possessions, getting up and down the floor.
Yeah.
I think that's going to play to their advantage with some of the speed players that you mentioned that they have on the floor.
And that it's interesting, too, with Wemby's long strides. After he gets a defensive rebound, he seems like he's in the mood to get the ball off the floor as well. So, and he's a good passer in the open court, as are several of these guys. So, yeah, that's a good point, Dan. I think they will try to push the pace.
And I do think just the addition of Wembanyama, where I think he's going to be first felt, is on the defensive end of the floor. I think his presence in terms of changing shots, obviously his ability to block shots. He blocked over 3 shots a game playing for Metropolitans 92 a season ago. I think that's where his impact is going to be felt immediately, and then everyone's going to kind of feed off of that for a better team defensive effort, that is.
I think that's a very fair point, you know, because his length is just going to be hard to deal with for guys that are shooting over him.
Good contest there by Champagny, but Devin Vassell, as you mentioned, Bill, he's got that 3 going early here as he knocks down yet another.
Yeah, Devin, I tell you, he's going to be so important this year, too. I mean, last year he tried hard.
Well, he only played 38. He only played 38 games last year, right?
But he looks really good. He looks aggressive. He looks like he's anxious to get back on the court and start the season.
He's also gained some weight.
Missed 25 games last year, 25 straight games, that is, with that left knee injury. It sidelined him from the beginning of January to the end of February, and then just the final 7 games of the season as well. And he gets to that left step 3, and boy, looks good, as it was throughout last season when he was averaging over 18 points a game and shooting at 38% from downtown.
What about Zach? I mean, look at Zach. I mean, being healthy, having confidence. He looks a little heavier, a little more muscle. He's got to be so important for us.
Well, the confidence for him, too, is key, because having not played in almost 2 years, coming back, working his way back in, and then just getting regular starting minutes after the trade of Jakob Poeltl. Huge boost to his confidence.
Also,
I agree with you.
I think Greg Popovich's confidence in Zach Collins helped him too, because Pop, when it was like a few weeks left in the season, that's our starting 5 next year. Remember, and that's very, very rare for Pop to make any kind of an announcement about who the starting center or anybody's going to be the following season.
Trey Jones. And he'll get to the foul line. By the way, congratulations, belated congratulations to Trey Jones, who got married this offseason. And then on the very next day, got a new contract from the Spurs. Pretty good wedding present, I would say.
Very good, very good. Very nice family.
We should all get married again then. Maybe we'll get to the contract.
I don't know if that's available for us, but you could check.
I'll check.
I'll let you check on that one.
I'll look at the rules.
But, Trey's such a good guy, and, obviously one of the team leaders. And he's got that quiet confidence about him, But I think that he's just a very, very important player on this team, because the other guys look up to him.
Yeah, the way he finished the season last year, averaging almost a triple-double, that was incredible. It came out of nowhere, I think.
Chetty Osman, no, but on the follow-up is Dominic Barlow. Barlow, just 20 years of age, and played in 28 games last year with the Spurs. And also spent a good chunk of the season in the G League with the Austin Spurs. Really did a nice job in developing, over the course of the second half of the season, and progressing guys like Barlow, Charles Bassey, and others who really got a chance to shine here in San Antonio at the end of the season. Don't count out what they're doing down at the G League. It has been such a vital tool for the NBA, and now every team, with the exception, I believe, of Phoenix, now has their own G League affiliate.
And
yeah, it's so important. I mean, same system and all that. There you go.
It's also important, too, I think, geographically, that Austin is so close to San Antonio that you can get guys back and forth pretty quickly. And there are a lot of guys that, talking about that trip, they get to know I-35 pretty well.
And probably better than they'd want to.
Yeah.
I know you know it better than anybody.
But, if truth be known, you'd rather play in the NBA than G League. But, guys that aren't in the rotation that need some minutes, it's a very, very valuable tool for guys to play and not sit at the end of the bench.
You got mass substitutions both ways. Dominic Barlow, who is on a two-way contract again this season, in the second year after starring at Overtime Elite. He also, Bill, was really good in Vegas during the Summer League. 17-8 and just under 28 minutes a game, shot at 62% from the floor in those Summer League games.
It's like that confidence, that boost that he got in that Dallas game where he had the 2019 game.
Oh, that's right.
Carried over into the summertime.
Yeah, all these guys need repetition. I mean, all you got to do is get on the court and repeat everything you do, and just time after time.
Still very young, Dominic Barlow, as are a lot of these guys.
But everybody's very young.
That's true.
Everybody,
Yeah.
The team actually got younger
Yep.
from last year, believe it or not.
Wow. But not the broadcasters.
No, they got older.
Yeah, I think that, like I said, our youth and our talent and our speed is going to be so exciting this year.
We
I
can
mean,
see.
just look at what we're doing now. They're really not trying that hard per se, but you can see that these guys are anxious to go 100%.
Under 2 minutes here in the third quarter. Silver now with their largest lead of 7. And Devontae Graham misfiring, trying to get Black back in it. Serge Jabari Rice brings down the rebound. And here's Blake Wesley with a kick out to Rice. And Wesley once again will draw it out and lay it inside. Charles Bassey fouled on the way up, will get 2 shots.
Good recognition on the mismatch there as Devontae Graham was on the much larger Charles Bassey. Also on the floor right now, we haven't talked too much about him, is Sidi Sissoko, the Spurs second-round pick, who, of course, played in the G League last year, averaged about 13 points per game for G League Ignite. And he's an interesting prospect, very young. He's still a teenager.
Yes, he is. 19, speaks 3 different languages, by the way.
Yeah,
Some Spanish, too, so you can get him for a good interview there.
Sí, claro, muy bien. Vámonos.
28 games in the G League Ignite program for Sidi Sissoko a year ago, where he averaged just under 13 points, shot at 45%, just under 30 minutes a game.
You know how excited you just made Publio by telling him that
That
Sidi
speaks
speaks a little
Spanish? Yeah.
He loves players that speak a little Spanish.
Well, it makes my job easier a little bit, you know.
Yeah. You were having fun when Argentina was sending all those players into the NBA, remember?
That's
Scola
right.
and Prigioni. They all, of course, are Spanish speakers like Manu.
Yeah. It's good for the city, too.
Yeah.
Kyle.
Zach Collins, they've been using him, out front in the post, high post. He's moving all over the place.
Oh.
Julian Champagny with a hand in his face knocks down the
Another
triple.
3.
All right, we got another question for you back at home. This one doesn't have a prize attached to it. It's just for fun. But what foreign country have the Spurs drafted the most players from? And it's multiple choice. Your answers are Canada, Australia, Brazil, and France. Again, have drafted.
Right.
What country have
yeah,
the Spurs drafted the most players
I'd say
from?
France.
Okay. I'm not going to give away the answer
Oh,
here.
okay.
Yeah, we want the fans at home to.
Well, I'm just thinking of.
No, can't. Australia, right? Australia.
Yeah, but you got to remember those Patty Mills.
No.
Was not drafted by us.
See, Bill picked up on the magic word right there.
There you go.
60-56 with 1 quarter remaining here in the Silver and Black Open scrimmage. And again, opening night just a few short weeks away on the 25th against the Dallas Mavericks here at the newly anointed Frost Bank Center. That's going to be a fun one that kicks off the 82-game regular season. Bill's season gets started a little bit earlier. On Monday night, he'll be in Oklahoma City on News 1200, WOAI, the Spurs Radio Network, and the Spurs and the Oklahoma City Thunder. And, we maybe start to talk about some of the other teams around the NBA that'll be interesting to watch, and the Oklahoma City Thunder certainly fall into that category.
Extremely interesting team. Sam Presti has built quite a team there, and they're very young still. They might be a year away, but they're on their way. Now, of course, Holmgren last year missed the entire season, so he got a redshirt year. So he's basically a rookie this season. But Shai Gilgeous-Alexander averaged over 30 points per game last year, 6 rebounds and 6 assists, close to those numbers. And then, of course, you got Josh Giddey, who is still a very young player. He's only 20 years old, but he can do so many things. He can average close to a triple-double again. So they've got some very intriguing young players. Jalen Williams, who had a surprise year, I would think, as one of the top rookies in the NBA last year. So, Preston's done a good job drafting as always, and he's got a good young nucleus there.
And they have 75% of the league's draft picks over the next 10 years, too. On top of that as
Forgot
well.
about that.
Yeah.
But you got to pick right.
But, no, I look forward to seeing, if you look forward, hopefully things go as scheduled here with the Spurs and their move up. But two of the really good young rosters in the NBA in that game Monday night with Oklahoma City and San Antonio.
I'm told we can give the answer, Bill. You were correct. It was France. France is the correct answer.
Jan Mahimi.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think who else might have been drafted from France. Tony Parker, of course. These two guys. Sidi Sissoko and Wemby. Was Livio Jean-Charles a Frenchman?
Yes, he was.
Okay, there we go. So, and we mentioned Mahimi. Nando De Colo, was he a draft pick? Or did they sign him? Nando, of course, he was a good player. He's had a very good career over in Europe.
Yeah.
Livio Jean-Charles is a great pull, by the way. That is a phenomenal pull. That is why you are the encyclopedia of Spurs basketball.
No.
He is the guy. He is the guy.
No, it was a pull.
Start of the fourth quarter, 60-56 here with Silver on top. Victor Wembanyama back out on the floor. And over behind the back.
Oh.
And not giving up on the play. Charles Bassey rejecting Julian Champagny along the baseline.
Bassey's a physical player. He's really fun to watch inside. We mentioned the fact that he's got a knack for offensive rebounds. He swatted that shot.
He's a strong player, too.
He is.
33 blocks a year ago for Bassey. Now entering his third season out of Western Kentucky. Victor catch and shoot three. And last touch out of bounds by Charles Bediako, the rookie out of Alabama. Averaged 6.6 rebounds a year ago for the Crimson Tide. Also appeared with the Spurs Summer League team.
Another one of those Canadians. A lot of guys coming in from Canada.
Sandro trying to throw it up there for Charles.
Good idea.
And Black will get the ball back down 4 here in this last quarter. No Elam ending, by the way, so play through the end of the running clock. We'll see as this game continues to tighten up if the competitive juices start flowing a little bit more here in the fourth quarter.
It will.
Serge Jabari
Nobody
Rice
wants to lose.
brings down the rebound, even in an inter-squad scrimmage.
Exactly.
I agree.
Especially with crowd here, right?
Yes.
There's people watching.
A nice little float game there from the rookie, Serge Jabari Rice. 13 points, 3 rebounds a year ago. The Big 12 and national 6th man of the year.
Texas Longhorn.
By the way, that's back-to-back Big 12 6th men of the year now. Members of the Spurs, Jeremy Sohan being the other one, of course, from Baylor.
Very good.
2 years prior.
Here's what Mamu, I love when he does this.
Oh.
He's got reckless abandon when he drives inside sometimes. He just turned 24, Mamukelashvili. And, we talked about the little boost that he provided last year. Bill Land talked about that earlier, But one of the things I liked about him, he's just a really good teammate. He was really engaged even when he wasn't in there. And then when he was in there, the other guys really kind of looked for him a little bit. And I think he just really is a glue guy. And, of course, he's going to be fighting for some playing time on that second unit as well.
I think that's the biggest thing. These guys all relish the opportunity they were given. And a lot of these guys, it was second chance opportunities, right? Mamukelashvili was let go by Milwaukee. Champagny was let go by Philadelphia. They were getting another opportunity elsewhere, and they made the most of it and found their...
Bassey with Philly, too, right?
Yeah, exactly. Another guy right there, too. So you got all these guys who made the most of their opportunities and made enough of an impression on the coaching staff and the management here to get another opportunity the following season. Because you could certainly argue in what may have been a season all about development, not about wins and losses, whether or not the performances of those players was certainly their capabilities or just the flow of the game per se at that point in the season. But no, these are NBA players. They showed their stuff. They get another opportunity to show it again here this season.
That was really the best thing I think about late in the season last year was the fact that they found a couple of guys they could use this season, and that being Julian Champagny and Sandro Mamukelashvili.
So back from the timeout, 4-point game. Team Black going with Victor Wembanyama, Charles Bediako, Sidi Sissoko, Devontae Graham, and Julian Champagny. For Team Silver, Blake Wesley, Serge Jabari Rice, Malachi Branham, Charles Bassi, and Sandro Mamukelishvili. The handoff to Wesley up top, around the screen from Bassi. Back to Bassi, pull up from the elbow, and Victor brings down the rebound, swatted away by Charles, out of bounds. It'll belong with Team Black.
Victor's going to be able to get some rebounds that you're not going to think that he's going to be able to get to because of those arms.
No
right?
need to jump. Just reach up. You'll get it. And the other thing about him, too, is that he can
now
see
he plays
floor.
point guard.
Yeah, exactly.
Here's your 7'3" point guard bringing the ball up the floor.
You can see his handle.
And tries to whip it inside to Bediako, and it's picked off. But everything up to that point was spectacular. And Bassi, they're going to work on the big fella. Now we'll give it back to Sandro, and Mamu leaves that three-pointer short and over the backboard out of bounds. And back to Team Black. We got substitutes here for Silver. Chetty Osman coming on along with Dominic Barlow. Devin Vassell will check back into the game here.
I don't know if you saw any of the interviews with Chetty Osman, but he's real excited to be here. He's very excited to play for Pop, and he says all international players love the opportunity to play for the San Antonio Spurs because of the Spurs' reputation overseas.
And as Bill Lamb pointed out, Pop has always had a soft spot for the guys who come from Europe and other international places because they just know the fundamentals and how to play the game the right way.
And I don't know if you saw it. It looked like he punched the ball.
Yeah,
I think he punched the ball to Serge Jabari Rice. That's the first time I've seen a punched ball get an assist.
Victor for three. Leaves that one short as the fans started to ooh and ah as he pulled up from beyond the arc. It's Devin Vassell. Chetty Osman on the baseline is fouled by Victor. And Zach Collins will give Wembanyama a breather here with just under 6 minutes remaining in the fourth quarter. Still a 6-point game. And the inbound, Chetty Osman fading away, switching hands and putting it in with his left.
Veteran move there by Osman, who of course is from Turkey, actually born in Macedonia, but now resident of Turkey.
Tied his career high with 29 last season against the Clippers. Had 6 20-point performances off the bench for the Cleveland Cavaliers. And one opportunity for Sidi Sissoko at the other end.
I think the guys are ready for preseason to start. Yeah, you travel tomorrow, right, Billy?
Yep, flying to Oklahoma City.
I mean, it'll be good for them to play someone else other than their own guys here.
Well, they just started working out on Tuesday.
Yeah, but look how long we've been off.
Yeah,
people were so anxious to get to this point.
Dan, a lot of guys were in open gym, right? I mean, a lot of guys participated this year, so it's not like it used to be where years and years ago guys got in shape right before the season.
Right? As I mentioned to Brian Wright, there is no such thing anymore as a season and an off season. This has become a 365-day sport.
Oh, there we go.
Dominic Barlow trying to attack Zach Collins. Collins called for the foul. Zach wasn't going to give him a free lane.
Let's hope they're all right.
Yeah, come on.
And then Barlow comes over and pats Zach on the backside. So, I don't know if it's
Victor's coming back.
Enforcer is the right word to use for Zach, but Pop was talking about the fact that he's got some nasty.
Right.
Talked about that the other day at Media Day.
You know what also is different? Guys are wearing track pants here, by the way. It looks like for a run. We don't,
It looks a little weird.
It's a new thing.
It's a scrimmage.
They're ready to go.
Blake Wesley will come back in. Out there with Malachi Branham, Devin, Dominic Barlow, Chetty Osman here for Silver, who's got a 7-point lead with just under 4 minutes to play. Team Black was in control for much of this game in the first half, and then Silver kind of started to pull away here in the third quarter and have extended upon the lead in the fourth. And as Black have one last push here in these final 3+ minutes. Collins rolling to the basket. Nice touch inside.
Good decision by Champetti, too. You saw Collins cutting, and he got a nice little floater inside.
Vassell using the Barlow screen, spinning away from Champetti, falling away from the elbow, and couldn't get it to go, but sticking with the play was Dominic Barlow to knock it back in.
How happy is Vassell with a new contract? I mean, wouldn't you get crazy? I mean, I couldn't stop smiling. You have to go out there and work hard, but wow, what a contract.
Devin Vassell signing an extension that'll keep him a member of the Spurs and the Spurs core, who continue to build this team. A young team as it is, but one that is hopefully primed to add winning to the development, as Coach Pop said on Media Day.
So winning is as important this year as development or learning was last year.
Part of the culture, and especially with this organization over the past 50 seasons, as we now are into year 51. Wow. Which, by the way, though, you can still go back and watch all 50 episodes of The Ring of the Row on the Spurs YouTube channel. Great docu-series.
It absolutely was, and covered all the bases. If you're a Spurs fan at all, you could do a serious dive into any of those episodes. You'll get addicted, right? Because they're 10-minute episodes, most of them.
Uh-oh, there goes Vassell. There he goes.
Left the ball behind him. Spots Chetty Osman on the wing. And now Malachi. With under 2 minutes here remaining, and Silver has opened it up to a 10-point game, and nearly an and one opportunity. Instead, Blake Wesley will get a couple of free throws. Blake Wesley, year number 2 out of Notre Dame after averaging 5 and 2 a year ago. He's part of the All-ACC rookie team, an All-ACC second team in his 1 year at Notre Dame.
Had that tough injury early in the year. Remember the knee injury?
And sidelined him for quite a bit of time, a couple of months before he came back. Still was able to appear in 37 games. Hoping to get more consistent playing time here in year number 2. And that's the amazing thing, Bill, because as much as we talk about Victor Wembanyama and Sidi Sissoko, you've got year 2 of Jeremy Sohan, Malachi Branham, and Blake Wesley, and primed for big things, all 3 of them.
It's going to be really interesting to see exactly how the rotation shakes out, because you got all these different guys that can do different things, and I'm just really, I think, Pop's got a chance here to experiment a little bit with different guys, because guys got different skill sets.
Yeah, for sure. A lot of these guys are going to fight each other for the positions and for the minutes, and they should.
I'm really liking the way Collins is shooting that 3-ball with confidence. That's huge for the Spurs.
Wesley getting downhill, past Trey Jones, kick into the corner. 3-ball on the way for Osman. No, the putback is good for Charles Bassey. And it's going to be a win for Silver. A come from behind victory after trailing from much of the first half into the third quarter. And Silver, 74-65, wins the open scrimmage. Guys, pleasure as always. Thanks to Bill Land who joined us as well. Hey, don't forget, Monday night we've got Spurs preseason basketball. Bill Schoening will have the call on WOAI and the Spurs Radio Network. And game will be televised, Bill Land, Sean Elliott on Bally's Sports Southwest. Our next home game and first home preseason game here at the Frost Bank Center will be on Friday night, the 13th, against the Miami Heat. Go to Spurs.com or the Spurs app for ticket info. Opening night, October 25th, against the Dallas Mavericks.
We're ready. We're ready.
We are ready. For Bill Schoening, Paul Castro, Bill Land, I'm Dan Weiss. Good night from the Frost Bank Center.